Good morning, everyone. We are gathered here today to celebrate the holy union of Mike and Erin, and more specifically, to celebrate their love, friendship, and loyalty to one another by being bonded through marriage. Marriage is a sacred thing. It is to be taken seriously and reserved for those who have one thing in common. They have found their one true love, the person they want to spend the rest of their lives with. Through this union, God will recognize the commitment they have made to one another, and they will be eternally blessed as a result. Blessed not only through his eyes, but through each other's. It is hard not to point out the world we are currently living in and how it has changed so many things in our daily lives. We struggle on a daily basis to fight against the global pandemic that has sadly taken the lives of thousands and has affected so many more. Everyone here, plus many others, were supposed to gather this past April to celebrate Mike and Erin's wedding in a traditional manner. Unfortunately, their day had to be postponed as COVID-19 shut down most of the country mid-March. Unsure of that point when we could all reconvene and return to normal living, they had decided to move the wedding back to November, because surely it would be cleared up by then. However, no one could have known that we would continue to be battling this virus. With more and more months passing, it was clear that November would still not be the perfect time to have that reception that Mike and Erin had been dreaming of. I don't mean to harp on the daily uncertainties, dreadfulness, and struggles that the virus created, because this is meant to be a happy day. I bring it up to address it and show everyone how dedicated Mike and Erin are to one another. Their love knows no bounds, and not even a global pandemic will stop them from being together in God's eyes. Sure, they will have to change some things about their reception next year, but they're not going to be held hostage from one another. They decided they were no longer going to wait or push things back. They will find a way to make it work now. This is the reason we are here today. I want to also add that we have lost some very close family members in the past few years that would otherwise also be here with us today. However, they are here with us spiritually and looking down and giving their own blessing. When previously speaking with Mike and Erin about their ceremony today, they wanted to ensure that several items were included. They wanted a Bible passage to be performed because religion is very important to them. They also wanted to signify their unity through a special ceremony of creating a vase. We will get to those items shortly, but let's start with how their story began. How did Mike and Erin get to this point? Well, it started about 7 years ago. This December will actually mark their 8-year anniversary. So we will say 7 years for now, or as Mike and Erin like to call it, 7 and a lot of change. They met through a mutual friend, Nicole, who is also here today, back in August of 2012. At the time, Mike was in the Navy, and he had to come home. He didn't have to come home. He came home on leave. They were introduced to each other, but Mike was disappointed, as Erin was currently dating someone. But as luck had it, Mike returned home on another leave a few months later in November, and Erin was single. Being that he was still in the Navy, he would eventually have to return to his ship, but he wasn't going to let this opportunity get away. They exchanged numbers and began talking to each other all through December. From there, we had our first official date, which then quickly turned to many more. When asked how their first date went, it was the traditional dinner and movie, which just happened to occur on Christmas Eve. They both explained that it was so easy. They were so comfortable with one another, like they had been friends for many years. As they officially became a couple, these dates spawned several adventures throughout the years. These adventures include going down to Washington, D.C. one year for Mike's birthday, and another year they went to Disney. One in particular that stood out is when Erin came down to visit Mike at Norfolk in 2013. It was a delightful trip. Erin got to visit the Navy base and go on one of the ships. They spent time in Virginia Beach, where they ate delicious crab cakes from the area. However, all of this fun of this trip was not without stressors. As this was their first big adventure together, Mike was admittedly nervous about a few things, requiring him to call up his sister. One of his questions to her was, should I wake up early in the morning before she gets up so I can brush her teeth? I don't want her to think I have bad breath. Crystal told him to relax, as this is normal for everybody, but Mike, unsatisfied with that answer, decided to sleep with a cup of mouthwash to get to bed. When it came to use the mouthwash, there was nowhere to spit it. As a result, Mike wound up swallowing the mouthwash to hide the evidence. That, ladies and gentlemen, is not only commitment, but it's an early sign of the love to come between them. I could speak for myself and many others present here to say that Erin and Mike are some of the most generous and compassionate people I know. No matter what time of the day, they're willing to help you in any situation and would gladly give you the shirt off their back if needed. Erin, you work in a profession that puts others over yourself. Being part of the medical field has its challenges, especially working with those who are sick, in pain, or in need of help. This is the perfect role for you since you embody all the qualities that these patients require: compassion, patience, empathy. You have that ability to make those around you very comfortable. As soon as you met Mike's family, you immediately fit in, and they all knew what a perfect match you were for him. Mike, your dedication to your family and friends is something that everyone immediately recognized about your character. You are always the first person to offer to help someone move into a new house, help babysit, or watch the dog. You've done all of those for us. Thank you. Your dedication to our country must also be mentioned. Following your father's footsteps, you gave 4 years of your life to the Navy, giving you the well-earned status of veteran. At Christmas and birthdays, you are always in competition to have the title of the best gift giver. Not because you want the recognition, maybe a little bit, but mostly because you love seeing that expression on their face when they open it. You love the fact that you made that person happy, and I know that this is one of the qualities that Erin loves most about you. Sean is now going to read a passage.
I'd like to now read a passage that the couple had picked out from the Bible that bears importance on our gathering today. I read it from the letter of St. Paul to the Colossians. Brothers and sisters, put on as God's chosen ones, holy and beloved, heartfelt compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience, bearing with one another and forgiving one another. If one has a grievance against another, as the Lord has forgiven you, so must you also do. And over all these put on love, that is the bond of perfection. And let the peace of Christ control your hearts, the peace into which you are also called in one body, and be thankful. Let the word of Christ dwell in you richly, as in all wisdom you teach and admonish one another, singing psalms, hymns, and spiritual songs, with gratitude in your hearts to God. And whatever you do, in word or in deed, do everything in the name of the Lord Jesus. Give thanks to God and Father through him. The word of the Lord. Now we'll move on to the unity ceremony. Erin and Mike, today... Now I don't want to know both of you. Today your separate lives come together as one union. These 2 separate bottles of glass symbolize your separate lives, your separate families, and your separate set of friends. They represent all that you are and all that you'll ever be as an individual. They also represent your lives before today. And these 2 bottles of glass are poured into one. The individual containers of glass will no longer exist, but will be joined together, representing the beginning of your journey as husband and wife. The glass will then be sent out and put under extreme heat, but with patience and respect for its fragileness, will be formed into a beautiful vase. Your marriage too will be put under extreme stress, but with that same patience and respect for one another, will be turned into a beautiful family. Just as these pieces of glass can never be separated and poured again into the individual containers, so will your marriage. You will go along this amazing journey of marriage together now as one.
In preparation of this day, I spoke with Erin and Mike separately because I wanted to ask them 3 questions, in which they would be unbiased in their responses. I wanted genuine answers that I'd be able to share with them today on the most of special days, so that they could see exactly what they think of one another. These 3 questions were, what initially drew you to one another? What do you like most about each other? And now that your new life has started, what are you most looking forward to in the future? I started with Mike and asked him what initially drew him to Erin during their first interaction. So this is the first time they met. What was that special quality that he saw early on that distinguished her from all the others? He told me that he was immediately struck by her amazing blue eyes and beautiful smile. He was also shocked in just how easy it was to talk to her. He said that even though he'd never met her before, they were talking as if they had known each other forever. I then asked Mike, what do you like most about Erin? Now this goes beyond the initial attraction because you get to know the person better and identify those things that make them special to you. Mike explained that he likes most is knowing that he is in love with his best friend. That although they can be opposite at times, this creates the perfect balance. She picks up where he leaves off, she compliments him, and to quote Mike directly, I am a better person today because of her. Lastly, Mike was asked what he was looking most forward to in the future with Erin. He was very pensive, and it took him a few minutes to think about the different things running through his head. He commented that it was difficult to put it into words, but then he said he was very excited to take on all these adult milestones that were to come. Purchasing a home together, starting a family, raising kids of their own. He then ended up by saying, my life will always be exciting with her in it. I then asked Erin the same questions, starting with, what initially drew you to Mike? She immediately said his personality. She commented on how outgoing and funny he was in their first interaction. She also mentioned that he was very good on the eyes. Next, I asked Erin what she likes most about Mike. She said the thing she loves most about him is how much he cares for her, especially everything that happened with her mother. He showed her how truly selfless he is, and that he was always worried about her feelings. He would constantly ask, what can I do for you? Or what can I do for your family? During this difficult time, Mike was working his overnight shift. Erin had explained to me that Mike did not sleep for 3 days because he was so worried about her. He would go into work, and when he got home in the morning, he would spend the entire day with Erin just to make sure she was okay. 3 straight days. That is a truly incredible showing of kindness, commitment, and most importantly, love. Lastly, we ended with Erin with what she was looking forward to in the future with Mike. She said that she cannot wait to start a family with him and can't wait to see him become a dad. She explained that he is so good with other people's kids that she knows how amazing he will be when they have their own. She imagines looking at Mike playing with her children and saying to herself, that's my husband. She also stated that she's excited for their whole journey and to get to the point where they have their own kids and their kids are grown and they become grandparents, sitting on rocking chairs and watching them play in the front yard. I'm glad you were able to hear those answers from one another. It is truly reflective of how strong of a connection you have with one another. I want to share with you some advice that was given to my wife and I on our wedding day that we found particularly helpful. In your mind, you have to build a wooden shelf with each other's name on it. You have to make sure that there's nothing on that shelf at the end of the day that you need to talk about. At times, we let so many things build up on the shelf. No marriage is perfect, and there will always be the occasional fight or dispute. But just remember, this is expected and normal. But if we're not careful, our shelf can get so full that we can no longer clean it all. Make sure you clear that shelf before going to bed at night. Never go to sleep angry or upset with one another. Any fight you have is not worth these negative feelings, and you deserve to wake up happy with one another. We will now move on to the vows. Michael, please repeat after me. I, Michael,
I, Michael,
take you, Erin,
take you, Erin,
to be my lawfully wedded wife,
to wedded wife,
my constant friend,
my constant friend,
faithful partner,
and
the love of my life
the love of my life.
from this day forward.
From this day forward,
I offer you my solemn vow
I offer you my solemn vow
to be your faithful partner
to be your faithful partner
in sickness and
in sickness and in health,
in health, in joy and sorrow,
in joy and sorrow,
and in life as well as in death.
in life and as well as death.
I promise
I promise
to love, honor, and respect you always.
to love, honor, and respect you always.
Erin, please repeat after me. I, Erin,
I, Erin,
take you, Michael,
take you, Michael,
to be my lawfully wedded husband,
to be my lawfully wedded husband,
my constant friend,
my constant friend,
faithful partner,
faithful partner,
and love of my life
and love of my life,
from this day forward.
from this day forward.
I offer you my solemn vow
I offer you my solemn vow
to be your faithful partner
to be your faithful partner
in sickness and in health,
in sickness and in health,
in joy and sorrow,
in joy and sorrow,
and in life as well as in death.
in life as well as in death.
I promise
I promise
to love, honor, and respect you always.
to love, honor, and respect you always.
Beautiful. The exchange of the rings serves as a tangible reminder of all the promises that you have made on this special day. It symbolizes the perfect circle that is now representative of your marriage. It reminds us that the love you are both in now has no beginning or end. It is both endless and infinite. And although we may not wear our rings at all times, they are things that should be cherished and cared for. As you look at these rings over the years, I hope you remember the symbol of commitment and love, that you have created something invaluable. Dan, please give Erin's ring to Michael. Michael, place the ring on Erin's finger and repeat after me. I give you this ring
I give you this ring
as I give to you
as I give to you
all that I am
all that I am
and accept from you
and accept from you
all that you are.
all that you are.
Dan, please give Michael's ring to Erin. Erin, place the ring on Michael's finger and repeat after me. I give you this ring
I give you this ring
as I give to you
as I give to you
all that I am
all that I am
and accept from you
and accept from you
all that you are.
all that you are.
Please join hands. To make your relationship work will take love. This is the core of your marriage and why you're here today. It will take trust to know that in your hearts you truly want what is best for each other. It will take dedication to stay open to one another and to learn and grow together. It will take faith to go forward without exactly knowing what the future brings. And it will take commitment to hold true to the journey that you have pledged today. Happiness in marriage is not something that just happens. A good marriage must be created. In marriage, the little things are the big things. It is never being too old to hold hands. It is remembering to say, I love you at least once a day. It is never going to sleep angry. It is standing together and facing the world. It is speaking words of appreciation and demonstrating gratitude in thoughtful ways. It is having the capacity to forgive and forget. It is giving each other an atmosphere in which you can grow. It is a common search for the good and the beautiful. It is not only marrying the right person, it is being the right partner. I ask you both, are you ready to start this journey together?
I am.
By the power vested in me, by the Universal Life Church in the state of New Jersey, I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may now kiss the bride. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to present the new Mr. and Mrs. Gear.